What's going on? And today I want to talk about the conference championships yesterday with the Eagles and 49ers and Chiefs and Bengals. Very interesting games. The Eagles game, definitely not what we expected for the outcome. Chiefs and Bengals, definitely. A lot of controversies yesterday for both games, no doubt. First one, of course, the Devontae Smith. I want just because others are injury. Of course, the Brock Purdy injury definitely affected the game. Chiefs have the controversial extra third down that they gave Chiefs that eventually ended up being a first down with Eli Apple with his mistakes, and of course the late hit to Mahomes with just seconds left on the clock to put the Chiefs in a better field goal position to end up winning the game. But I want to start with the Philly game first. So no question, it's like I said, the outcome isn't what we expected. We all thought it was gonna be like the Chiefs and Bengals game. It was gonna be really close. Personally for me, I still had the Eagles winning this game. I predicted on my Twitter at Sports Brewers the Eagles were gonna win 31-17, and I said I don't think people are before the game people were saying Brock Purdy was gonna get exposed. I didn't think it was that. I just thought he was gonna be just average in this matchup, and it didn't go the way that we all thought it was with the hit with 7 minutes left in the first. Hassan Reddick comes off the edge, hits Brock Purdy in the arm. At first, incomplete pass. They go back and review it, or it was challenged. They go back and look at it, and it resulted in a fumble. But to go back, let's go back in order actually. So the first controversial play is Devontae Smith. So it was 10:28 left in the first, 4th and 3. Hurts rolls out of the pocket, goes to his left, throws it a deep pass to Devontae Smith, which we all thought at first it was an unbelievable one-handed catch to set the Eagles up in the red zone. Then after that play, Devontae got up quickly and was telling everyone to hurry up and to snap the ball. And you kind of, it was a little weird why he would want to hurry the offense up so quickly. Eventually, they get lined up, snap the ball, get a play done, so there's no chance of review. But upon afterwards looking them reshowing on TV the replays, it shows it's obvious that Devontae did not catch the ball as he's coming down the ground. It comes out of his hands, hits the ground, and it's clearly an incomplete pass, but couldn't get the challenge in time. I don't know if Shanahan just wasn't able to didn't have a chance to to review the play, or for Devontae, just the Eagles were just too fast for Shanahan to even just react to get a challenge flag or what. But that was the first one. But that was obviously the biggest one people complain about. That should have been, the drive should have been done there. 49ers take over the ball. Turnover on downs. 49ers get the ball. And, who knows what would have happened. But the second biggest part, like I said earlier, was the Brock Purdy injury. Again, 7 minutes left in the first. Hassan Reddick hits him in the arm. He goes, he hits him in the arm. Like I said, it was an incomplete pass at first. It gets challenged, turns into a fumble. Then you start seeing the medical staff working on him. Then once 49ers get the ball back, Josh Johnson, 4th-string quarterback, is out there playing. And obviously for a 49er fan, you're worried. You're asking, well, why is he out there? Why is he not out there with the team? Why is he not throwing? He's getting he's getting worked on. He has a bunch of ice packs on him. And it's just a brutal loss. Like I said, most of this game you can sum up as a 49er fan is just a what if. A lot of injuries. Like I said, first time that when the defense was out there, Fred Warner gets banged up. Bosa throughout the whole game was limping, was banged up, of course. Brock Purdy, no doubt, again, elbow. It was listed as an elbow injury. Josh Johnson gets hurt, is out of the game with a concussion. Then it gets to a point where we're questioning if Christian McCaffrey is going to be the next quarterback up as the 5th quarterback for this for the game, which that would have been just it'd been shocking, but at the same time too, it would also been just exciting because McCaffrey was the only guy that was out there really carrying the team. So it might as well. He was running. He was running the ball, catching passes. Might as well throw the ball too while he's at it. And yeah, I get the stats. No doubt that affected the game. But I mean, to be honest, even in the first half, before we got towards the end, it was still a close game. It was just 7-7. McCaffrey obviously gets a rushing touchdown, ties it up. It was still a tied game with everything considered, with everything going on with the injuries, penalties. A couple here, a couple there before the point. It did look like they were still in there. They still had a chance. You were kind of hoping that hey, Brock Purdy, he has the extra, a few more minutes at halftime. He has the rest of the first half to get healthy. Comes out in the second half. Eventually did. I think he came in 5 minutes into the third quarter. But what really hurt the team was really just the penalties on defense. Just, it kept the Eagles' drive alive, giving them great field position. Eventually, they were able to score 2 touchdowns before half, making the score 21-7, and that was basically the game right there. 49ers couldn't do anything at that point. Like I said, when Josh Johnson got hurt, I'm sure they were really reluctant to put McCaffrey in the game, so they stuck with Purdy. And depending on how severe the elbow injury is, I doubt he could even be accurate or even throw the ball well. So that was pretty much game. Eagles got 10 more points out of it. Final score was 31-7. So, I mean, I guess close to what I predicted. I predicted 31-17. The Eagles did hit their mark. What I said, 49ers were 10 short. I mean, overall was the only good player on offense was just McCaffrey. McCaffrey had 15 carries, 84 yards, a touchdown. He also had four catches for 22 yards, and that was pretty much it. After McCaffrey for rushing, you get pretty desperate because Elijah Mitchell was inactive before the game started. So you had George Kittle for 1 rush for 4 yards, Josh Johnson 2 carries for 2 yards, Deebo Samuel 6 carries for -9. For receiving, again, same thing. Deebo, 3 catches for 33 yards. Kittle, 3 for 32. Like I said, McCaffrey, 4 for 22. Ayuk, 1 for 10. Nothing went right. After that Purdy injury, it all went downhill after that. And, as a 49er fan, you're just going to look at this as just a big what if. What if Brock Purdy stayed healthy? What would the outcome would have been? I still think either way the Eagles would have won, but it definitely wouldn't have been this bad of a loss. I feel like even towards even the second half, it was just boring. You already knew who was going to win. It was pretty much sealed with the quarterback problem. It wasn't going to work out. So very disappointing for that. But give credit to the Eagles. Like I said, that Hassan Reddick, probably one of the biggest free agent steals. Probably no doubt the best free agent signing, if you will. 16 sacks in the regular season. This game he was unbelievable. Had 3 total tackles. 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery. Again, his contract was in the offseason was a 3-year, $45 million deal. The other big outcome, of course, no doubt, was the penalties. San Francisco ended the game with 11. Philadelphia had 4. And towards the end of the first half, those penalties really killed. Like I said, it kept the Eagles alive, and they ended up getting 2 touchdowns, helping them get 2 touchdowns to extend the lead to 14, leading at half 21-7. Offensively, too, stat-wise, the Eagles weren't that crazy either. I mean, the big thing that went for them was the running game, no doubt. They've been known for the whole season, on top of their great offensive line. Gainwell had 14 rushes for 48 yards. Sanders had 11 rushes for 42 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hurts had 11 rushes for 39 yards and a touchdown. Boston Scott had 6 carries for 21 yards and a touchdown. So you already see just how deep this running group goes, the running back room for the Eagles. But you have your third string running back producing, no doubt. Gainwell, Boston Scott are playing well. Obviously, Miles Sanders, we know who he is. He had a pretty good game. Like I said, 42 yards, 2 touchdowns, wasn't too crazy. You already have Hurts on top of all those 3 running backs. Receiving. Yeah, just like the 49ers, pretty shocking saying it was 31-7. You would think that the stats would be better. They basically are par with the 49ers. Devontae Smith had 2 catches for 36 yards. If you want to take, of course, if you don't want to count that, the controversial catch that he had, they dropped, he would have 1 catch for, I don't know, 20 yards or so. A.J. Brown had 4 catches for 28 yards. Didn't really get the ball too much. Gainwell, 2 catches for 26. Goddard, 5 for 23. Jack Stroll, 1 for 5. Miles Sanders, 1 for 3. So like I say, it wasn't an exciting game. You knew the outcome of it. Eagles did what they had to. They just ran the ball, just controlled the clock. Almost had 40 minutes of possession. Again, 49ers, it just sucks to go out that way. They had a very promising stretch towards the end with Brock Purdy. A lot of people were thinking that Brock Purdy could actually lead this team to a Super Bowl and win it. It just sucks that he gets hurt early in the game, and that ultimately decides the outcome of it. And we'll never know what it was. I still think Philly would have won either way, but it definitely would have been a more exciting game if Brock didn't get hurt. Moving on to the second game, no doubt the better one, and obviously the one that probably filled with more controversy, is the Bengals and Chiefs. The outcome of the game was Chiefs get a game-winning field goal to win it, 23-20. Burrow did, obviously the biggest takeaway I have is Kansas City took advantage of Cincinnati's injuries more than Cincinnati did with the Chiefs' injuries. The big injury component was offensive line. You had 3 offensive linemen out. I believe it's right tackle, right guard, left tackle. And it shows Burrow had 2 picks, was sacked 5 times, was in a lot more pressure on him than Burrow, or a lot more pressure than Mahomes. Certainly a bigger factor is the rushing game. Joe Mixon was basically a no-show. I mean, give credit to Kansas City with their defense, but Mixon was a no-show. He only had 8 carries for 19 yards. Burrow ended up being the leading rusher with only 30 yards. Even Samaje Perine, scored a touchdown, but they didn't have a big game either. 5 carries, 22 yards, a touchdown. Perine added on in the air too, 3 catches for 4 yards. Mixon had 3 for 15. So Mixon only had 34 total yards. Obviously, one team you can look at is the Bills. Obviously for my Bills, it's if you don't have a running game, it's gonna be really hard. And they basically made this team a one-dimensional. Couldn't run the football. When you're basically your Pro Bowl running back can only get 34 total scrimmage yards with rushing and catching. You're not gonna win, especially with Perine. Perine had 26 in total, so they basically shut down the running game completely. Again, Higgins for catching, 6 for 83 yards, and a touchdown. Chase, 6 for 75 yards. Boyd, 2 for 40. Hurst, 4 for 37. Mixon, 3 for 15. Like I said, Wilcox, 1 for 10. Irwin, 1 for 6. And Perine, 3 for 4. As the other side from Mahomes, like I said, I don't think Kansas City Cincinnati took advantage of the injuries to Kansas City going into the game. Mahomes, we all know his ankle was very banged up. Was not going to be as mobile as he's used to. Also, Travis Kelce, even though he seemed fine for the game, I know he had back problems, which you never know. You take the wrong hit, it could trigger something. So going to the top two players for Kansas City were banged up, and defense, did what it could. It did. I thought. I predicted the Bengals to win 31-28. I thought the defense was going to make a game-changing play. They got a fumble. And at least they got something out of it. They got a turnover out of Mahomes. But ultimately, it just wasn't enough. The 2 biggest controversies was either redo on 3rd down, where Cincinnati stopped Kansas City both times, but the second stop on 3rd down ended up being an automatic 1st down for Chiefs because of Eli Apple's holding. And, of course, the final play before the game-winning field goal was Mahomes scrambling to get a 1st down, and Osai hitting Mahomes late when he's clearly running out of bounds. If he would have let him go out, that would have been, I believe, a 60-yard field goal for Bucker. But because of the penalty, kicks it to 45, wins it. Now, of course, not guaranteed that just because it's a 60-yard field goal, he's he's guaranteed to miss it. But obviously, no doubt with any kicker, you want to push him as far away as possible, and that 15 yards really helped Bucker get the game-winning field goal. For the Chiefs, on the other hand, again, rushing wasn't good either. Pachenko had 10 for 26, Mahomes 3 for 8, but with his injury, we expect that. Hartman 2 for 7, McKinnon 4 for 1, and Ronald Jones 1 carry for 0 yards. Receiving was huge. Scantling went 6 for 116 yards and a touchdown. Kelsey 7 for 78 yards and a touchdown. Pachenko had 5 catches for 59 yards. He hit the big break when he broke three tackles on the Cincinnati sideline for a huge first down. For Kelsey, I gotta say this it's not just this game; it's for this entire season. When you know Kansas City doesn't have great receivers out there, if you want to say Juju, Juju's their best receiver they had, whatever you think of him. I don't get why Cincinnati and other teams for this whole season aren't double teaming Kelsey. The biggest threat, the biggest target Mahomes is going to look for is Kelsey, no doubt, especially on third downs. Why are you not trying to scheme up a plan to neutralize Kelsey and make someone else beat you? Make Kadarius Toney beat you. Make Juju beat you. Make Scantling beat you. Make Justin Watson beat you. Make all these other average, above average receivers beat you, but don't let Kelsey beat you. And I don't know why they couldn't stop him. I don't know why. It's not just this game, but just the whole regular season where teams just let Kelsey just go one-on-one, and there's no doubt if you leave him one-on-one, he's constantly going to get open. That's why the guy had almost 1,200 yards receiving and had 14 touchdowns. So it's just that's the only thing that really bothered me with that. It's like you know Travis Kelsey is going to be the main target. Why they keep leaving him one-on-one, I have no idea. And I think that was another big thing too, just not trying to force him to go to someone else. For this season, he had 110 catches for over 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns for a tight end, and that was basically his only great receiver out there was his tight end for the whole year. And you let him do that. On top of that too, for the whole game, you had receivers left and right going out. You had Juju left the game, didn't come back. McCole Hartman was out. Kadarius Toney was out. Willie Gay at one point was out. Snead got hurt. So at top of the game already, going into it, you already had Kelsey and Mahomes not 100%. Now you have all these other players out of the game. So it should be much easier, just looking at face value to scheme wise. Hey, just take away Kelsey and let these other people beat you. Let Scantling, work for his catches, trying to move the team down. Don't let Kelsey beat you. Let someone else beat you. And it didn't work that way. For Mahomes, he played phenomenal with the injury. It's in the middle of the game, it seemed like to really bother him here and there. I tweeted out too that it just seemed like he was starting to slow down. It was starting to really bother him. He was slower at evading the sacks, the tackles. But he played great. He had he was 29 for 43, 326 yards, 2 touchdowns. Got sacked three times, but eventually at the end of the day, he scrambled to make the final play with 17 seconds left. Of course, him running to get to the first down, Messiah, give him the late hit, and we know the rest. Another big player in this game, no doubt, was Chris Jones. Going into the game, I had no idea he never had a playoff sack. He had 2 against Cincinnati, which we all know how great Chris Jones is as a D tackle. Definitely one of the best, one of the top out there in the league. So just to hear when he got his first sack that it was his first career playoff sack, especially being in the positions he has been with Mahomes, it was surprising. But he got his 2 sacks. He was definitely disrupting the offensive line. He really, like I said, for Kansas City, he really took advantage of the injuries on the offensive line. Really put pressure on Burrow. And definitely made it a lot easier for the Chiefs. In terms of just looking at on paper for talent on defense, it doesn't really jump out at you besides Chris Jones and maybe a couple other people. But give credit to to the coaching staff. They really schemed up a strategy to really slow down the offense. You look at last week for the Bills, when how easy Cincy was going up and down the field with running, mixing over 100 yards rushing. It just seemed easy for Chase and Higgins to get wide open. And for this game, they shut down the run. Really, aside from a few good catches from Chase and all that, and one great one where Higgins climbed the ladder to get the touchdown, double covered. Overall, I think they did a pretty decent job trying to slowing down the whole offense. When clearly, again, looking at on paper, Cincinnati had the much better offense, much better players on there. I truly believe if they were able to have the running game they did against Buffalo in this game, we're probably talking about Cincinnati being in the Super Bowl right now. Because I think if Joe Mixon had over 100 yards rushing, they would have no doubt better time controlling the clock and keeping Mahomes on the sideline and eventually winning the game. Who knows? You probably can just flip the score and just say, we probably, if that happens, you probably say, Cincinnati won again. Against Kansas City again for the second straight year in the AFC Championship game, 23-20. And then we're talking about how Burrow's gone to 2 straight Super Bowls, and we're seeing if he can somehow beat Philly. But in this case, no, it's going to be Chiefs and Eagles. Should be an interesting matchup, but definitely on the injury list going for the Chiefs, it's going to be a very tough battle for Mahomes. So far, it might be like the Chiefs game all over again, where he's going to have Kelsey and Scantling as his top guys. Because on the injury report, you have Justin Watson, Juju Smith-Schuster, L'Jarius Sneed, McCole Hartman, Willie Gay, Kadarius Toney. All those guys are questionable. I expect a couple of them to be back, but for the receivers, you don't know. Kadarius Toney's always hurt. I think it was such a waste of a trade for the Chiefs to get rid of trade a second round pick for Kadarius Toney, very injury prone, and it's not working out. He has flashes, but he's just injury prone wide receiver, so it hasn't worked out there. Juju Smith-Schuster, he was the best receiver statistically for the Chiefs, so that's gonna be a huge loss. Snead, their best corner, is definitely gonna hurt. Hartman, he's been there for a while. He knows he's been in those big moments. It's gonna be brutal if they lose him. Same thing for Willie Gay. So it's gonna be pretty interesting, no doubt. What happens in the Super Bowl? Unfortunate from both sides. Very again, 49ers unfortunate with the injuries. Cincinnati unfortunate with the just costly mistakes on a couple plays. The late hit of Mahomes, the hold on Eli Apple to give the Chiefs to move the chains when they stopped them basically 3 times, twice, 2 times on third down when the Chiefs were given a free third down again. So it's unfortunate. I really thought Cincinnati was going to go to their second straight Super Bowl and kind of redeem themselves. Who knows? Maybe it is a little bit better losing here because if Cincy goes on to the Super Bowl and then if it was that outcome, I still pick Philadelphia either way if it's Kansas City or Cincinnati. So maybe it was better. Cincinnati goes. Let's say they get beat by Philadelphia. Then as a Bengals fan, you have to sit here and listen to people say, "Oh, well, Burrow has now lost 2 straight Super Bowls now." And there'd be no doubt there'd be a lot of bashing, I think, on Burrow and especially on Zach Taylor and the whole team. So it's just unfortunate. Obviously, of course, a big factor too, no doubt, with injuries with Cincinnati is just the offensive line. If it was healthy, I think this game would have been different. It would gave Burrow time to throw. Mahomes had way much better protection than Burrow. So it's unfortunate that injuries really kind of cost 49ers and Bengals, at least for that, more so 49ers. But either way, not bad of a conference championship. I would definitely the divisional games were, I would say, better than the AFC championship, or sorry, divisional games were better than the AFC championship or the conference championship games. But we'll see. I'm kind of excited for the Eagles and Chiefs. I know a lot of people I see on social media aren't too happy with that. They think it's a horrible matchup to watch the Super Bowl. I think it might be pretty interesting. Who knows? I know there's already discussion I see that people are claiming Mahomes to be the greatest quarterback of all time, already passing Brady. I think that's way too early. I get what he's done. He's gone to 5 straight AFC championship games. He's gone to 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. For right now, he has one Super Bowl win. He's locked up to win his second MVP. So I get the start. He is no doubt the best quarterback in the NFL, no doubt. But to say greatest of all time, I think it's putting too much pressure on him. If let's say if all of his receivers are out and he can do that, then yeah, that no question that's gonna help his case. But if he goes out there and loses, it's gonna be tough to argue that because okay, now you've lost 2 straight Super Bowls, and I just think that really hurts his case. I think it's already outrageous to already be talking about that already. For me, I think you have to win at least in total, have 5 to 6 Super Bowls at the very least, to even be considered on discussion for Brady. You just look at the resume. I don't think he's going to play as long as Brady, so you have to consider that. You have to take that into factor. Just how dominant Mahomes was for how long he plays. You look at his contract. Once his contract is done, he's going to be 37 years old. Who knows what Mahomes was going to look like in 10 years from now. But the whole discussion of greatest of all time, I think it's just a little too early for that. But he definitely has a trajectory to make that. He definitely is on that path, no question. But to automatically just crown him over Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, I don't agree with that. But let me know your thoughts on the games. What your thoughts on the Chiefs Bengals game, 49ers Eagles. You think you think it was fair? I got a lot of speculations, just people saying it's rigged, scripted. Let me know if you believe that, and your thoughts on the Super Bowl. I'll try and come out with my prediction for video for my prediction for the Chiefs and Eagles. So I'll see you in the next one.